Alrighty, you ready?
Yeah.
As soon as we start filming, he wants to get a drink of water.
He drinks a lot of water. He's well hydrated.
He's a well-hydrated boy. You want to be in the video? Good boy.
So what's today's date?
It's December 21st, which is crazy because I feel like it was just September and we were starting classes.
Yeah.
And now here we are almost at the end of the year.
So Christmas is just a few short days away.
And I have wanted to talk about this for a while. It's something that I think about every single year whenever the holidays roll around and you start seeing all of the advertisements for all of the stuff that you're supposed to buy, and the consumerism attitude really ramps up around this time of year. And so I wanted to sit down and talk about why we have just started to do Christmas differently.
Yeah. I think about it at birthdays. I mean, at any kind of holiday, you have Easter, and it's the bunny and the candy, and Halloween, same thing, costumes, this, that, the other.
Day
Valentine's Day
is one of the worst.
Yeah. It's just our country. It thrives off of consumers buying things.
Mm-hmm.
You go into any social media platform and you're gonna get everything shoved at your face that time of year. You walk into a store and you could be going for a jug of milk and you're gonna be thrown with, this is the next best thing. Like the day after Thanksgiving, Christmas stuff is there.
There's nothing wrong with consumerism in general, but I think it has to come from a mindful place.
Mm-hmm.
And there has to be a reason behind why you are doing what you're doing. I mean, the reasons behind why we do what we do matter. It is important. And I feel like during this time of year, it's almost like they want you to just go to sleep and not think about anything and just buy. And so I don't even honestly know when we started to do it. Maybe it was our first Christmas or the Christmas after, but we just slowly started to do things differently in a way that feels more meaningful and more intentional and less about the stuff. And we've just kind of stopped doing gifts in a big way.
In a big way. We don't have to impress each other. And I think a really big thing to start this off is that the very first step for me was kind of telling my family that, hey, I'm probably not going to get anything for anybody. Send them cards. And there always is a little bit of pressure, for instance, not put on by anybody, but I feel it, like for the younger ones, like my nieces, nephews. But I'd rather have experiences than stuff to be remembered by. And I think a good first step for me was telling family members that I'm not going to get them anything, and
not getting anything and not expecting anything.
Yeah, and that I don't want anything.
But making an active effort to be a part of people's lives.
Yeah.
Because you and I both really feel strongly that is the most important thing.
Being a passive person is not in my blood. For me, when I go all out, if I were to go all out and give someone gifts, it feels like a competition to me, and it's not very genuine. And trying to make a list or compete, what's like, for instance, if we were going to get each other $500 worth of stuff.
Oh gosh.
I'm just saying, people probably do that. It would be a competition of who can get the best stuff for $500, or who can spend the most if you don't even tell each other a budget. If I was doing that, that would feel like I'm losing sight of showing someone love. It's not about a competition. You think of your entire family, and this is not pointed at anyone, but think of your entire family and feeling obligated to buy them something for Christmas or get them something, hopefully you make them something. But that list is easily over 10 people that I can think of that I used to get people gifts for.
It's stressful.
And yes, keeping stress down. One thing about holiday time and presents is that it all ends up being super stressful.
The holidays shouldn't be about stress and anxiety, but for a lot of people they really, really are. And to step away from that was really important to us.
It's exhausting.
And not buy into that stress and anxiety and not bring that into our home, because when you do that, it takes over everything that you do and it becomes really unpleasant.
And while it adds to Christmas, it takes away from it. It really kind of deviates from what I think it should be.
It takes a holiday that should be about family and about our relationships with each other and peace on earth. And if you're a Christian, it's literally about the birth of Christ, to something that is all about stuff. And that makes me really, really uncomfortable. It always has, ever since I was a little kid. The idea of people having to buy this stuff, and me knowing that somebody went out and spent all this money to give me this stuff that I'm probably not going to even have 6 months from then. It just makes my stomach hurt a little bit, and I just don't like it. And that's kind of goes back to what I said earlier about like mindful consumerism, because it's like the few times out of the year where there's these holidays, you're supposed to buy somebody something, but the only reason that you're spending the money to buy somebody a gift is because of that holiday. That kind of takes away from the true focus of what that holiday is about, whether it's about family and peace on earth, or it's about love with Valentine's Day or whatever. And that's kind of why we have started setting a budget for ourselves. So we'll say, this year we'll get each other whatever under $50, however many items we want to get, or one item under $50, just something simple. But then throughout the year, if we want to give each other a gift, then we'll do it.
Just because, yeah.
And I think that's the big takeaway here, is it's not like we're anti-gift. It's not like we're saying you shouldn't buy people that you care about gifts, and gifts are a bad idea and you're just buying into the system. That's not what it is at all. It's just kind of stepping back from the attitude that has kind of shaped our society around these holidays, and simplifying it and making it about something more than just the stuff that you are getting someone.
Yeah. Not anti-gift giving. I mean, if you look back, if you're a Christian in the Bible, I mean, people gave Jesus gifts when he was born. I think that's where it probably started, and then it's morphed into something commercial and something, the Santa Claus, the this, the that. It's just, it's not very genuine when you think about it, because the relationships that, for instance, the wise men had with Jesus, completely different. I think that's some of the most genuine stuff. They traveled miles and miles and miles to
but
do
it
this.
was about being with him in that moment, not about like, oh, let's bring him this stuff so he knows who we are. It was about
going and seeing, I think a big part of Christmas for me, instead of gifts, is family.
And seeing family and spending time with the people that you love and making memories, because you can't take any of this stuff with you when you go. And the last thing, if you just look around, especially in Western civilization, the last thing that anyone needs is more stuff. We have plenty. That's why for us, finding different ways to acknowledge the season, giving back if you can, is something that I've started to do more, and I really enjoy that.
What do you mean by that?
Like, okay, this is gonna make it sound like I'm bragging, and I'm really not.
Well, I asked. So.
But I went through the drive-thru last week or the week before and got like Burger King or something, and I paid for the person behind me.
Yeah.
Just cause I wanted to, and they got like a coffee. It wasn't like they were buying for their whole town or anything like that. It was like $6, but it put a smile on somebody's face. It was something that was super easy for me to do. I mean, we have plenty of money. We're financially secure to be able to do that and put a smile on someone's face and make them feel like somebody cares.
That's pretty genuine.
That feels better to me than giving someone a stocking full of stuff ever could. And that's just us. That's just how we feel.
That's pretty sweet. I didn't know that.
well, I didn't want to be like, oh, guess this thing that I did. Like, look at me, I'm so kind. I didn't want to do that because I felt like that would take away from the moment. But since it fits into the story.
Doing genuine acts and genuine gifts. Like Rebecca and I got each other some things, and it's more of not things that we're gonna have to hold on to forever.
Stuff we can use.
Usable things, consumables, something to have a good experience.
Food's always a great idea. And I also want to make sure that we say that this is not us saying that if you are the kind of person who really loves giving gifts or really loves receiving them, that there's anything wrong with you, because everybody is different. And I know that some people really love going all out for the gifts and everything. It doesn't matter. Any occasion to do that makes them happy.
If that makes you feel good, that's That's totally okay. We're just explaining our perspective and how
And
we
I think
feel.
it's important to make sure that you're doing it for the right reasons.
Right.
Like if you're doing something because it genuinely brings you joy and brings the people around you joy, then that's great and you should do that. But if you're doing it because society is telling you that you should and that this is the right thing to do because it's just what you do, maybe take a step back and reevaluate your priorities and how you view the world. It's all about sharing joy and sharing love, and the way in which you do that does matter. So I just wanted to sit down and share our thoughts on that just because of the season. It's the perfect time to talk about something like this. I think a lot more people are becoming more mindful in how they acknowledge the season, and that makes me really happy. I just wanted to add our perspective to the mix of everybody in the hopes that maybe if you're feeling all this pressure and this anxiety around the holidays, you can kind of take a pause and examine why that is and maybe start to do things a little bit differently. And I think the simpler approach to most things is pretty much always the best way to go.
Right.
And you're able to come back to what really is important and what really matters. And I think that that is the main thing that we're trying to get across here. So anyway, we hope that you enjoyed this video, enjoyed hearing our thoughts and perspective on the Christmas season and holidays in general, and just the commercialized attitude that our society has really embraced. Maybe it'll give you pause to consider your own life and actions a little bit. Just know that this is not a judgment from us on you if you choose to do things differently. We all have to do what we think is right and choose our own path, and nobody should feel pressure one way or the other to do things a certain way. And I think that is the main thing. So
I'm curious how they balance it all. So I'm not on her channel obviously, but I'll check the comments just because I'm nosy. Yeah. What do you do to balance gift giving and Christmas and family, and how do you show your love?
So thank you for watching, and we hope that everybody, regardless of how you celebrate, we hope that everybody has a very, very, very Merry Christmas. Bye.